Hey everybody, this episode of More Stories is brought to you by, we have our sponsors, Stamps.com and Mangrate and all those good people at U.S. Storage Centers. However, our guest is Father Willy from St. Monica's Parish. And I was going to read the live reads, and then we started talking about the book of John, and all I could picture was Christ kicking over money tables, saying, "This is not what my Father intended." I'm paraphrasing. And I thought it would have been really absurd to break up a talk about exorcisms to do any type of live read. So with apologies to our sponsors, but not to the fans, this is a commercial-free More Stories. Because not every day you get a priest to sit in your studio and talk about priest stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. It was really cool.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game change.
Donuts.
I want to work with you a lot.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, yes, my friends. More Stories, special guest. We've been waiting for this one for a while. Real quick, you guys have been emailing me and tweeting. First of all, Father Willy, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I just want people to prove, I want to prove that you're here and that this isn't just a predisposed commercial read. There's an actual guest.
No, I'm really here. And we're sitting in your garage.
We are sitting in my garage. No prayer before the podcast. I thought for sure you were going to bang one out.
Well, I said one on the way up.
All right.
Come, Holy Spirit.
That's what Monsignor always says to me. He says, before you go on stage, you say, Holy Spirit, come with me.
Yeah.
You guys are using the Amazon link on jmohr.com, and I really appreciate it. This is brought to me by Ronald Brandt. So, Ronald, if you're out there, this is your big shout-out. If you're friends with Ronald, tell him that he got a shout-out. Dear JJ, just went through your website, jmohr.com, to Amazon, picked up 2 awesome guitar effect pedals and some instrument cables for the guitar I just finished building myself. So that's badass. Good job, Ronald. There you go. So thank you guys, everyone helping out. I mean, you got to pick somebody. There's like hundreds of those emails, and I'm like, here's one. I was panic-stricken because I don't want Father Willy to wait around while I figured out what to read. But it turned out to be something cool. Usually, Father Willy, it's like, hey, I just bought Chewbacca sheets. It's always Star Wars stuff. Or, hey, man, just thanks. I got my sunglasses. It's called the Sunglass Hut at the mall. So if you ever do any Amazon shopping, Father Willy.
I do, but it's usually for books.
That's fine, but you go to jmohr.com, you can use my link, and I would think we'd even out with the collection basket.
All right.
I put a lot of money to light those electric candles. It's not even real candles anymore. They're electric, and half the buttons don't work.
That. Yeah, they don't smell like candles either.
Yeah, that is a fact. What is alarming to me is when you sit there, you kneel there, and you make this impassioned prayer for a member of your family, and then you hit the button, and the electric candle doesn't work. And then you immediately think, well, that person's dying.
Oh.
Because the candle didn't light. I said this huge prayer, and I hit the candle button. I think now they're all fixed.
Or maybe it was all used up.
Maybe it was all you. Tell that to the person I'm praying for. Like, hey, I went to light a candle for you. Wouldn't take.
Well, what's that fake mustache up there?
Well, you're in Fake Mustache Studios.
Oh, okay, good.
And when you leave, you're going to get your picture taken with a fake mustache that's in that fake mustache basket. And if you notice all the photos around you, like there's Larry Holmes, fake mustache, Nancy Kerrigan, my son Jackie.
Oh my God.
There's me and the Modell family after the Super Bowl. Christopher Walken. Everybody's wearing fake mustaches. Come on, man. Get with the program.
Nancy Kerrigan.
She's from your neck of the woods.
Yeah, she's from Boston. She's the one that she had her knees beaten in by Tanya Harding. Wow.
Doesn't make her a bad person. You're from Maine?
I'm from Maine.
But you have like a thick, you're almost like a Southie guy. Like you got forearms like Lenny Dykstra. That's what I like about St. Monica's. All the priests can fight. If there's ever a church on church
sometimes
brawl,
we fight with each other.
Oh, I wouldn't want to see that. It'd make me very uncomfortable. But if there was ever a church versus church brawl, and I mean like churches, not like Agape in Hollywood where people are doing Krav Maga during the sermon. I'm going to go with the St. Monica, Father Willie, Father Tim tag team combo. How does somebody become a priest?
Oh my God! There are almost as many ways as there are priests, and there are two different kinds of priests as well. So that's a further complication.
What, voodoo and non-voodoo? What do you mean there's two kinds of... Why are you clutching your heart? You're freaking me out. If a priest dies in your garage, it's probably a really bad sign. The candle doesn't light, and my priest died in my house.
These are not the voodoo or Santeria.
Yeah. What do you mean there's two kinds of priests?
There are priests that are in a diocese and work. They'll stay within their diocese, and they're ordained for that diocese.
For those listeners that don't know what a diocese is,
the city of Los Angeles is an archdiocese. It's a big city, so it's that region.
So diocese is a synonym for region.
Region,
okay.
Right? And then if you're not a diocesan priest, you're a religious priest, and that's not to say that diocesan priests are not religious. They can be, but religious means you're in a religious order, like a Jesuit or a Franciscan or a Dominican,
a non-Catholic
or Holy Cross. No, they're all Catholic.
But they just travel around. They're not.
They can go anywhere in the world if they're in an international order.
So wouldn't that behoove you to not be a diocese priest, because then your diocese is earth?
Well,
maybe
that's
you
true.
come by
that's
my
true.
region,
that's
the Dominican Republic and Japan.
But then there's another part to this, because if you're a religious priest, you have to take extra vows.
Are you?
I am a religious. I'm in an order.
So I'm confused as to what makes a non-diocese priest.
Okay, he's a religious priest. He's in an order, so he has to take a vow of poverty, for example.
So he's a traveling priest.
He's usually a traveling priest. He can go anywhere in the world that his superiors or the Pope asks him to go.
Okay.
But he could also be in a monastery, so he's going to be just living in that monastery if that's a particular order. Like,
seems like
Benedictus.
Not the best gig.
It
seems like it'd be way better to be like a L.A. priest than a guy traveling to Haiti and with a vow of poverty.
It depends on the person, because if you're taking a vow of poverty, it sounds like a negative, but it's actually a positive. Because
speaking of vow of poverty, let me just get my $3,000 Yorkie out of the garage. Excuse me. There, let's go.
Are we still talking now?
Oh no, we're still recording.
Okay, we are. Okay, the Yorkie.
You're talking about vow of poverty. I'm like,
yeah.
That's nice, but I got a 2-car driveway and I got $3,000 Yorkie that's about to run in the street.
Whoa!
And get hit by someone's Porsche. Oh gosh!
Yeah, there are a lot around here.
Wow. My cardiac says we've been at this about 10 minutes. What were you saying? Something about poverty.
Well, just
Hey, what do you want me to do? I'm sitting. Priest is clutching his chest in my garage. It's a little spooky.
It's I haven't laughed this much in a month, but
well,
anyway,
good. You gotta come back.
the poverty is that I don't own anything.
Now, you
and at the same time,
did you take a vow of poverty?
I took a vow of poverty, so I don't own anything. I don't own that car. I don't own this watch. I don't own anything. All
right, just forgive my language.
I use it
for shits and giggles. You're wearing a watch? Who owns it?
Everything I have belongs to Holy Cross. So
when you leave this earth, yes, someone else will inherit your watch? It just goes back into the bin?
That's right.
So priests are just this enormous lost and found.
No, for the
like your shoes, your pants, like everything, your regular clothing.
Sure. Yeah, you
better hope. Yeah, somebody that's being born now has your exact eye malady.
Right.
To have your exact prescription for your glasses, and people.
But often they'll go to the poor or people that need them.
I'm totally kidding, of course. So, your eyes bugged out. Like, what? I had this vision of all young priests standing over your casket, trying on your glasses, going, no. Oh, wow, whoa, how did he even see with these things on? And then one guy puts them on and goes, all right, I'm good. And then everybody leaves your funeral.
Well, when a priest does die, they usually, in the order, no matter which order, they usually seal the room so that the other priests don't go in and just help themselves.
Is that true?
Right. It's true.
So even priests get sticky fingers. They're like neighborhood guys.
Well, they can't because it belongs to everybody. So they say, oh, this belongs to me right now.
So you take a vow. So how old are you? Not now. How old were you when you start feeling that you were having a calling to become a priest? Because to the listeners, this is the most fantastical, most bizarre, and to a lot of listeners, absurd occupation in the world. And we've had many an atheist sit in that chair and tell me I was crazy for my beliefs, and I just go, well, that's fine. Yeah. But talk us through you as a kid. Like, you weren't a child with like the Holy Spirit flying around your head and seeing doves circle the house. You were probably just out there throwing rocks at trains like everybody else, right?
We did. We used to, the train track went right by our house. We used to ride on it to school, just jump on. It was one of those, it wasn't a passenger train. It's a
boxcar.
Boxcar, yeah. We would just jump on the side of the boxcar.
Boxcar hobo children in Maine, where you grew up. So how old are you when you start feeling this tug? Like, how does it happen?
What I can remember is 9 years old, because in the 4th grade, you were eligible to be an altar server. You had to learn Latin. You had to learn all the moves. And in those days, it was before they changed the Mass, so it's all in Latin. And everything is very carefully scripted. So as a little kid, you had to learn, like, when to ring the bells, when to bring the water, when to answer the priest in Latin, because the people didn't answer. It was all done by the priest in the altar service. So that's when I first started thinking about the priesthood.
So 9 years
old. I was in a Catholic school, and
what's your last name?
Raymond.
Willy Raymond at 9 years old starts thinking, I might want to do this for a living.
Yes.
But at 9 years old...
when I grow up.
When you grow up.
Yeah.
But at 9 years old, you couldn't, and I am putting words in your mouth, and you can just correct me and steer this anywhere you want to go. At 9 years old, you couldn't possibly have foresaw the obligation, the vow of poverty, the vow of celibacy. I'm sure you knew it existed.
Yeah.
But it was just...
Well, I don't know if I knew it at that point. At 9, I don't... I knew that they were special... They were special people, the priests that were there in the parish. We had 3 of them at the time.
And they were these priests that you grew up with, were they super influential in your life? Were they pillars of the society, pillars of the community and societal?
Sure, very much so. During we had 12 kids in my family, so Jesus. During the
pardon the pun.
During the summertime, people that are listening should be here to see this.
Huh?
They should be here to see the expression on your face.
Well, I'm like this all the time.
Okay. So anyway...
you should hear when Daryl writes here and calls me an N-bomb. He's a black guy who's a felon, shot a crackhead in D.C. And it's always amazing when a black guy calls you the N-word. Like in regular conversation, you're like, I guess we're really friends. But don't ever say it. Father Willie, don't ever say it back.
I won't.
I'd feel very poorly about you. All right, so the priest that you grew up with, and we're going to get sidetracked a lot. So.
Okay, we had...
we got all night.
This is a big family at Catholic school, and I think the best thing you could do at that point, my best friend and I were good friends, but also competed at everything in sports and in being an altar server and in the altar, when you get into that whole business, there are levels, there's a hierarchy. There's if you do it well, you get to be on at the Sunday Mass in the big Mass. So we'd have like 30 kids all vying for these positions, and then
it's like going to varsity.
If you're really good, you get to do funerals during the week during school.
Oh, what a joy!
So it was.
What's second place?
You would get paid. You would get paid. You'd get paid. Wait a minute. You get paid.
Oh.
You get out of school during school hours. If you can talk the priest into letting you go to the cemetery for the burial, you also get paid for that, and you're missing all that class time. So
it is refreshing to hear that there has not been really any providence so far in your story. It's pretty much I can get out of school and they paid me.
Yes.
No schoolwork, and they handed me a 20 on the way out. Hey, kid, here's a sawbuck. Thanks for coming to my old man's funeral. Nice job with the oil.
And weddings are even better. I mean, it's Saturday morning at that time, but you do the groom would always give you something. often $1, which was big in those days.
Back in the 70s when you were a child.
Well, this is in the
1870s. Let me
50s.
finish. So, what age do you start realizing the severity and the weight of what, and really entertaining it? Because it is, there's nothing really larger than what you're doing.
Sure. Well, you know,
except show business.